Hi guys, today's episode is going to be a very small one and I'm going to answer a few questions that most of you have been asking me, starting from if I have become a registered pharmacist in the UK. The next question is if I haven't, why didn't I choose OSPAP and instead went for an MSc, and also what am I doing after completing my MSc. So all of those questions I just thought I'll answer them, and it is going to be a very small video. Starting with have I become a registered pharmacist in the UK? No, I haven't. The fact that I had a couple of reasons in my mind for not choosing to do the OSPAP, because if you know OSPAP is if you are a registered pharmacist from another country or international country and you want to practice in the UK, you have to clear the OSPAP exam, and that is offered by around 2 or 3 universities in the UK. You can find more details about it on the internet, and so I had that in mind. And so let me give you a bit of background. What happened is that I was doing PharmD, and that was from 2014 to 2020, and as soon as I completed my PharmD, the COVID hit, and that was somewhat like no one was expecting that, right? And but even though I was like that kind of came like a surprise, I kind of had in mind that I wanted to start my career in the pharmaceutical industry, because starting from the course onwards, I kind of understood that industry gives you like a lot of flexibility, and there are chances of progression within the role. And also my skill sets that I had, like I like to talk to people and involve myself in decision making processes and also do presentations. So if you can think about it, like when I was very young, those days I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and that somehow kind of like stayed with me and it didn't leave. So I just wanted to start working in an industry, and becoming a pharmacist in any country was not something that I actually planned to. So for me, that was one of the few reasons. And also, since coming back to 2020, after completing my course, I started working in a pharmaceutical consulting company, and I got introduced to medical affairs, and I kind of liked that area because it talks more about science as well as it is in the industry. You can use your skill sets that you have, you can interact with people, make sure that you are talking science to everyone. So that was kind of fascinating for me, and I was doing the medical reviewing part, so I liked that. And then came this place, the thought process, like I want to start applying to abroad universities and go abroad for my studies. So I started looking for courses, and obviously the starting point was doing the OSPAP. So I kind of looked into it, I kind of understood the process, did my research. During the COVID, the problem was that the universities were not accepting applications because there were an overload of applications that they had already received. So that was not one of the options. And it was from my research I understood that 1 year you have to do your course, that is you have to do a dedicated course which is MSc OSPAP in pharmaceutical science OSPAP. So that course was dedicated for like 1 year. Sometimes if you are doing PG diploma, you can do it for like 9 months. So that kind of like didn't help me internally, because I was like, if I'm going to do a course, I don't want to relearn what I already studied during my 6 years of course. Like, come on, it was like exhausting for me. I didn't want to learn about that again, but wanted to learn something new. So that was one of the reasons. And a second process is that second year, you have to dedicate a second year where you have to do internship and then write the last exam to become a registered pharmacist. So the entire process of becoming a GPHC registered pharmacist in the UK was somewhere around like 2 years. So that again kind of like I was not sure, because sorry, the camera fell. Yeah, so like I was saying, the process that it was going to take me like 2 years somehow like scared me, and I didn't want to like do that like 2 years of course again. But like from my recent research, I understood that when you're on your second year of your the OSPAP, like you kind of do the foundational pharmacist, and that is paid, and also you can get the tier 2 visa. So that are two pros of doing that the OSPAP course, and which I didn't know about, or maybe I was too ignorant about it. Maybe that kind of didn't help me. For me, it was just okay, I want to learn something new. Then I started applying for new courses, and like I said, I had this inclination to learn about medical affairs. Then I found this course which was very new, and it was in a reputed college like King's College. I applied to that. Sorry, I applied to that, and then I got my admission. And I was like, okay, this is where it is taking me. Then let's go with the flow. Then after completing my course, then again there was this like while I was studying the course, again I was like searching for job. I want to like get placed. So that's where I came across regulatory affairs. So for me as a person, I'm like, okay, I want to start working in the industry. I want to do medical affairs, and medical affairs is the only thing that I can work in. I was too like rigid in that thought process. But when I got introduced to regulatory affairs, initially it was like challenging to understand, because I come from a different country. Here I am in UK, but our company looks after the EU. So it was kind of like, a lot of things to process very, very quickly. But I can tell you, like, regulatory is so good because I work in a different area. So that's the answer to the question that most of you ask me, like, what am I doing now? So I work in the regulatory affairs of a pharmaceutical company, and I do something called as a regulatory policy and intelligence. So regulatory has different functions within it. You can be operations oriented, you can be on CMC side, you can be on the clinical side of the regulatory, but also you can do something called as a regulatory policy and intelligence, because it's more like what is happening on the external environment. You're trying to collect that information, curate it to what your team needs, because not all that information is required by the team. So you kind of curate it and then send it to the team members within your team, and you help them in decision making. Fantastic, this is what I wanted. But like I said, so if I had chosen OSPAP, I would have got so many benefits, such as I would have become a registered pharmacist in the UK. I would have got the tier 2 visa very quickly, and the pay scale for the second year, like I said, there are 2 years dedicated to become a registered pharmacist. On the second year as well, the pay scale is really good. It's not too low. You are getting paid really well. And then the fact that something that I was not aware of, but I want to tell to you, is that if you feel your life is becoming very stagnant and monotonous being a pharmacist or being a community pharmacist, there is always an option to be in the industry. So because industry needs the registered pharmacist, so that was one of the options. So something that I kind of didn't think about initially, because my problems were like, I didn't want to dedicate 2 years for that, and then then again study again and then write the exams. Rather, I wanted to have that kind of flexibility, both emotionally, financially, and then start putting my skills into action and learn from that. So the problems that I am currently facing with not choosing the common path, that is becoming a registered pharmacist and doing the other MSc, was that it was very expensive to the pocket, because that was really was around like 30 lakhs just for the fees. So that's something that's very hard to think about now. Next is the fact that visa, that is the tier 2 sponsorship. It's kind of hard to get sponsored from a pharmaceutical industry. So I kind of don't know. There may be people who might have got sponsored, their skill set have something that matches the requirements of the country. I'm not sure, don't take my word for it, but I find it very hard. So it's just my problems. And yeah, and then those are the two things that I think would be a problem. And eventually if I feel like, okay, my career is also getting stagnant and I'm not progressing, I might go and do the GPHC. That is, I would do the 9 months course instead of the 12 months course. And if I were to stay in this country, then one of the major reasons that I didn't mention at all till now is that becoming a registered pharmacist is absolutely fantastic for the country that you're based in, but doing a course spending around like 12 to 15 lakhs just to study the again the pharmacy course which is dedicated to the country and then becoming registered for that kind of like didn't strike a chord with me, because I felt like if I am not going to stay in this country, what happens if, you never know if the country's rules change and then you have to migrate to another country. This particular course, like I spent like 2 years on this particular course, would not be considered valuable in any other country in the world. That was my issue. Like if UK were a part of was a part of EU, then maybe, but now I'm quite not sure, because these points I'm sharing, these are my thought process that I had, and like even now I want you to think about it, so that like you can also go and think about it and then do your research, and like you can like find more answers. It's just maybe like me overthinking, I don't know, but for me it was like I wanted to take something like a universal course, some more general one, that even if I don't get a visa sponsorship in this country, if I were to move out to some other place, I can still take that knowledge, that academic qualification with me to any other country and then use that there. So these were my thought processes. So now you know, to summarize, I am not a registered pharmacist in the UK yet, and sorry, these were a few points that I shared about why I did not choose to become a registered pharmacist while I was looking for my admissions in the UK. And then what I'm doing now, I am working in regulatory affairs of a pharmaceutical company. Even though I studied medical affairs, the beauty of the pharmaceutical industry is that you can always carry forward your transferable skills from one area to another one, so that kind of helps. So these are the things that I wanted to share. Hope this video was useful for you, and if you have more comments, thoughts, please keep it coming in the comment box below and we can have a discussion there. And I hope that these thought processes that I had in mind would be useful for you, can help you while you're making a decision whether to choose a course in the UK or any other country, and also trying to become a registered pharmacist. You can think more about it. These are very subjective to me and my maybe my overthinking, but I just wanted to let you know, because I have been getting so many questions about these 3 things that I discussed. So I hope this was useful, and please make sure to like and also subscribe to the channel. See you next week. Bye.